In this lesson, we will review the questions and answers for IP version 4 addressing Part 2. Let's get started with the first question. Which of the following answers lists the prefix or CIDR format equivalent of 255.255.255.224? From the subnet mask, we can figure out the number of IP addresses in the subnet are 256 subtract 224 equal to 32 IP addresses. Since 32 equal to 2 power of 5, so we know the subnet assigns 5 bits to host. Therefore, the CIDR format is 32 subtract 5 equal to 27 or /27. So the answer for this question is B. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video, Working with IP version 4 addressing. The question reads, the best subnet design must have enough. As we know, when we design subnets, we must make sure that we have enough subnets to assign to all physical and logical locations. And in each subnet, we must have enough IP addresses to assign to all devices. Therefore, the answers for this question are B and D. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video, Introduction to Subnetting. The question reads, what is the broadcast address of the subnet where the IP address 10.25.62.201/27 resides? To answer this question, we know that the /27 gives us 5 host bits or 32 IP addresses ranging from 0 to 31. The /27 also tells us the last octet got divided. Therefore, the network ID can be figured out by taking the number in the last octet, which is 201, divided by the number of IP addresses, which is 32, and it is equal to 6, remainder 9. Since 6 times 32 equal to 192, so the network ID is 10.25.62.192. To find the broadcast address, we're going to take 192 plus 31. So the broadcast address is 10.25.62.223. Therefore, the answer for this question is C. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video, Working with IP version 4 addressing. The question reads, according to RFC 1918, which of the following IP addresses are private IP addresses? Here are the private IP networks according to RFC 1918. Therefore, the answers for this question are B, D, and E. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video, Private IP networks. The question reads, assuming the configuration on both routers are correct, which statement is true about the behavior of IP in this network? To answer this question, we know that the /23 gives us 510 usable IP addresses in a subnet, which makes A is correct. This also tells us that PC1 and the interface F10 of router 1 are in the same subnet, which means they can ping each other, or C, incorrect. The /28 gives us 14 usable IP addresses in a subnet. From the diagram, we see 2 IP addresses have been assigned. Therefore, we can only assign up to 12 additional IP addresses, which make D incorrect. The /30 gives us 2 usable IP addresses in a subnet, which make B incorrect. Therefore, the only correct answer in this question is A. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Working with IPv4 addressing. The question reads, you are assigned an address space of 172.16.0.0/16. You decided to borrow 8 host bits to create subnets of the same size. How many host addresses will be lost after subnetting? We know that 8 bits for subnet allows to create 256 subnets. Each subnet loses 2 IP addresses, in which one for network address and one for broadcast address. Therefore, 256 subnets will lose 512 IP addresses. However, the parent network, which is this network, have already lost 2 IP addresses, so we only lose 510 IP addresses after subnetting. Therefore, the answer for this question is D. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Private IP networks. The question reads, which of the following answers list the dotted decimal notation format equivalent of /22? The /22 tells us that the third octet got divided. The number of bits in the third octet assigned to hosts is 24, which is a full 3 octets subject to 22, and it is equal to 2 bits or 4 IP addresses. The network part in the third octet is 256, which is a full octet subject to 4 IP addresses, which is equal to 252. So the dotted decimal of the subnet is 255.255.252.0. Therefore, the answer for this question is B. You can find the detailed explanation for this question in the video. Working with IPv4 addressing. This is the end of this lesson. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.